The title for the video for September 1st is "Doing the Right Thing Can Be Deadly." And the blurb actually continues the title, "On a Planet Run by Criminals and Demons." All my life, I've done my best to do the right thing as I understood it. From childhood, I felt I had a personal relationship with God, and there have been several experiences that seem to confirm this. When Reverend Dr. Mary Horgan took me under her wing, and I have my under instead of me under, gotta fix that. Took me under her wing, so to speak, my life became more solid, or so I thought. I inherited half her estate, as I've said in other videos. However, her banker and his wife tried and succeeded in bilking her, almost succeeded in bilking her out of her property. As it turned out, they filed a lawsuit against me the very month I was moving into my church home. Over 10.5 years later, the crooked judge ordered the theft of that home. From that point, I was no longer able to pay my way, having to depend on others. I was even abandoned by most of my spiritual community, at least in the local area. In my health crisis last year, I fought for my life. If I had it to do over, knowing then what I know now, I would have surrendered to death. Indeed, the trauma that I have faced this year is greater than the traumas that I faced fighting for my life with bad aortic valve problems. And I won those battles, the health issues. I overcame the stroke within a few hours, was able to walk. However, this has been more than I can bear. I have friends that just don't understand that they have a role to play in turning things around. They have swallowed the metaphysical lie or spiritual bullshit that facing the problem head on only makes it grow. As insane as that sounds, that's what they believe. That you're not supposed to stand up for your rights. You're not supposed to expose the corruption of the system. You're not supposed to do anything that would make improvements overall. If the whole world, if humanity, if the 90% of humanity, or it's actually probably much more than that, that are not part of the control grid, if we would just simply stand up, the game that the demons and criminals are playing would be over. But it continues time and time and time again. Folks, do you not understand that the United States of America is not a country? It's a privately owned, privately run, for-profit corporation, and every subsidiary all the way down to your local communities are part of it. Now, Anna Van Rijk, in her recent message, said, what we've got to do is turn in our driver's license, turn in our social security card, and file some paperwork that takes some time to reclaim our individual sovereignty. I gave up my driver's license at one point. I filed papers for as a sovereign citizen. As I've said before, I was Secretary of State of the attempt to establish and move forward with the real republic form of government in the United States. And I don't mean Republican, I mean republic, which is not a corporation, which is a limited government that only exists to protect the people's rights. It doesn't exist for any other reason than to protect the people and their individual God-given rights. But of course, the corporation goes against everything that the legitimate government was established to do. And this is the world that we live in. And even today, I go to log on to my email page. I've discontinued all of my emails, and they keep wanting me to put a password in. I have a book with all the passwords in it that are all written down. I've entered that like half a dozen times, and it's always the wrong one, even though there's no mistake in capitalization or under or lowercase. Then every character is correct. I was only able to somewhat recover it by hitting the back button on the email, and that let me get into the account. These are things that I face that challenge me to no end and literally make me want to cry. I've wanted so much to see good in this world, and it feels like an impossible battle to win, and I don't know how much longer I can fight. When I picked up my grandkids from school today, and Wednesdays are the busiest day because they have early dismissal, I have to pick up my grandson, wait an hour, pick up my youngest granddaughter, wait 45 more minutes after she's supposed to get out, and pick up the oldest granddaughter. And I also take the oldest one to school earlier in the day. I'm standing out at the crosswalk where my grandson comes across, and I started feeling really, really dizzy. I had to grab onto the rail with both hands to keep from falling over. It finally passed, and I don't know what was going on, but thank God I was able to walk back to my car and wait for my grandson to finally get there. But I'm tired, folks. I'm really tired. My birthday is less than 2 months away. I'm not sure I'm going to make it. I'm not sure. If some of the things that my friends are telling me are going to happen were to actually happen in the very near future, like in days, or at the most a couple of weeks, or by the end of September, I'd be okay, probably. But there's no guarantee. And I've tried to do the right thing. I've tried to stand up for what I believe the truth is. I've been willing to speak out. I've been willing to share what I believe needs to be done as I see it. And that's all I can do. I can't speak through anybody else's conviction or persuasion of what is true and what isn't true. I can only do it through my own, and I've done the best that I can. I've tried my best to do the right thing. And I don't know. I ask you to pray for me. It would be nice if somehow I could afford to put a roof over my head that's mine, that I'm not interfering with anyone else's lifestyle. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Anyway, I welcome emails or comments to get in touch with me if you want to give me any positive reinforcement that might help. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, but I do thank you for listening, and I thank all of my friends that have stood with me through the thick and thin of the past several years that I've been doing these videos. Thank you again for listening. Namaste.